Streets for Life. In this presentation, we are going to look at some statistics, the risk factors involved in road crash accidents, and some possible solutions to resolve the problem. So, before we move to the solution, let us look at what the actual problem is. Currently, how safe are the streets at the moment? So every 24 seconds, about the time you take to read this slide, one person is killed in a road traffic crash. Road traffic crashes cost most countries 3% of their GDP, which is a significant amount. More than half of all road traffic deaths are among vulnerable road users like pedestrians, which includes children, cyclists and motorcyclists. 93% of the world's fatalities on the roads occur in low and middle income countries, which includes India, even though these countries have approximately 60% of the world's vehicles. This is mainly due to improper traffic management and bad road infrastructure. Road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death for children and young adults aged 5 to 29 years. Let us look at what are the risk factors. One straightforward factor is human error. The second factor is speeding. An increase in average speed is directly related both to the likelihood of a car crash occurring and to the severity of the consequences of the crash. This concept is intuitive. For example, every 1% increase in mean speed produces a 4% increase in the fatal crash risk and a 3% increase in the serious crash risk. Also, the death risk of pedestrians hit by car fronts rises rapidly, 4.5 times from 50 kmph to 65 kmph. In car-to-car side impacts, the fatality risk for car occupants is 85% at 65 kmph. So we can see that the death risk or the injury risk increases rapidly with speed. Another factor is drink driving and drug driving. In the case of drink driving, the risk of a road traffic crash starts at low levels of blood alcohol concentration and increases significantly when the driver's BAC is greater than or equal to 0.04. Also, the risk of a fatal crash occurring among those who have used amphetamines. Amphetamine is a type of psychoactive drug. It is about 5 times the risk of someone who hasn't taken the drug. And other obvious factors are not using helmets, seat belts and child restraints, distracted driving like talking to a phone or attending a meeting during driving, unsafe road infrastructure, unsafe vehicles, inadequate post-crash care. Let us look at what role does speed have in fatality rates or seriousness of the injuries. Speed has been identified as a key risk factor in road traffic injuries, influencing both the risk of road traffic crashes and the severity of the injuries. Higher speeds lead to a greater risk of a crash and a greater probability of serious injury if one occurs. So technically, this is because as speed increases, so does the distance traveled during the driver's reaction time and the distance needed to stop. Also, at speed, the effects of driver's errors are magnified, which even involves the reaction time. In a crash, the higher the speed, the greater the amount of mechanical kinetic energy that must be absorbed by the impact. Hence, there is more likelihood of serious injury in case of collision. So, why did WHO come up with a 30 kmph speed limit? Vulnerable road users such as pedestrians, cyclists and moped riders and motorcyclists have a high risk because they are often completely unprotected or have very limited protection. The probability that a pedestrian will be killed if hit by a motor vehicle increases dramatically with speed. We have seen this before. In adjoining figure, the probability of a fatal injury for a pedestrian colliding with the vehicle is illustrated. So if you look at this plot, we can see that at the 30 kmph mark, the risk injury or the fatal injury probability increases has a steep slope at the 30 kmph mark, and it is almost 100% at the 60 kmph mark. The white zone is the safe zone where the risk injuries are not very serious, but the grey zone and the black colored zone are where fatal injuries may be caused. The research indicates that while most vulnerable unprotected road users survive if hit by a car traveling 30 kmph, the majority are killed if hit by a car traveling at 50 kmph. And 50 kmph is close to the 85% fatal injury mark. Factors affecting speed choice. So the speed choice of a driver may be affected by individual factors like the thrill or the amount of dopamine which a driver gets by taking higher risks, such as increasing the speed of his own vehicle, and the vehicle factors like the maximum speed limit which and or the acceleration which a vehicle can achieve. Road factors, like if the road is very well built and does not have any pits or ditches, then it is obvious to have a larger speed compared to a bad road. Traffic conditions, crash and injury risk, enforcement and sanctions, speed zone or limit, education or promotion. What can be done? So let us look at some possible solutions to resolve the problem, or at least reduce the impact of the problem. Design of effective traffic systems. The unpredictable nature of human behavior in a complex traffic environment means it is unrealistic to expect that all crashes can be prevented. But if greater attention were given to the tolerance of the human body to injury when designing the transport system, there could be substantial benefits when crashes do occur, meaning they might not lead to serious injury or death. Most traffic systems, however, are not designed on the basis of human tolerance. Separating cars and pedestrians by providing is very often not done. This is a problem which is prevalent in the developed countries too. So, design of effective traffic system which accommodates a safe system which accounts for human errors and tries to nullify the effect of human errors in the road crash accidents is very vital. Create awareness. So let us look at this plot of the stopping distance in an emergency braking. So if we see that the braking distance, the stopping distance increases due to the speed, and also the reaction time increases due to the speed. Drivers must be educated on the risk probabilities of various speeds. They must have the knowledge about the loss of control over the vehicle that results due to an increase in the speed. So information and statistics about such reaction data such as reaction time and the braking distance, which may result in loss of control over the vehicle, must be prevalent. Proper statistics must be provided regarding the fatal rates and serious injuries. A sense of responsibility must be instilled so that they would think that such incidents might occur to them too if they are being careless. They must be made aware about the benefits that safe streets would give to the pedestrians, cyclists, including their own children, and thereby reducing the vehicle's carbon footprint. If roads are safe for pedestrians and cyclists, then majority of people might use it for low distance transport, which would reduce the release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Thus, we can say that the 30 kmph speed limit is also eco-friendly. Reasonable maximum speeds of the vehicles. The problem of speeding has increased over the years, since the maximum speed that new cars are capable of is in many cases double the existing speed limit in rural areas. Many modern cars now are easily capable of speeding, which was typically not the case when speed limits were first introduced. It is therefore more of a challenge to convince drivers to drive within posted speed limit. So if we look at this plot depicts the percentage of vehicles sold in France capable of traveling more than 150 kmph, and this is growing almost exponentially with with year. So one way to reduce this problem would be to have restrictions on the type of vehicles that can be used for the streets. This way we can reduce the maximum speed which can be attained by a vehicle, and thus reducing the risk of accidents. Effective traffic law enforcement. Traffic signs related to the speed limits must be installed in every street, and it must be ensured that the traffic rules are followed properly. This is being implemented in developed countries, but in third world countries, traffic rules and signs are still a problem to be resolved. The government must realize that the expenditure in implementing is very minimal compared to the expenses over post-crash management. So no matter how good infrastructure we have, unless we follow traffic rules strictly, or the traffic laws are enforced strictly, there won't be any change in the statistics. So, without a strong, sustained public commitment to robust enforcement of speeds on the network by government, speed management programs are unlikely to be effective. It cannot be achieved overnight. There is a utmost need of perseverance in this case. Thank you.